Ephesus, the famous letter in the Bible.
We'll continue reading in Acts 19 about what's happening here in the city. We've heard now that the city is in uproar. They're all rushing toward the theater. Verse 28, verse 29, soon the whole city was in an uproar. The people seized Gaius and Aristarchus, Paul's traveling companions from Macedonia, and rushed as one man into the theater, into this theater. Paul wanted to appear before the crowd, but the disciples would not let him. Even some of the officials of the province, friends of Paul, sent him a message begging him not to venture into the theater. The assembly was in confusion. Some were shouting one thing, some another. Many of the people, most of the people did not even know why they were there. Can you imagine? They're all rushing in, there's something big going on, don't know what it is, but I don't want to miss it. The Jews pushed Alexander to the front, and some of the crowd shouted instructions to him. He motioned for silence in order to make a defense before the people. When they realized he was a Jew, they all shouted in unison, for about 2 hours, great is Artemis of the Ephesians. For about 2 hours. Think about that. That's this ongoing chant. The city clerk quieted the crowd. Men of Ephesus, doesn't all the world know that the city of Ephesus is the guardian of the temple of the great Artemis and of her image which fell from heaven? By the way, now think about this. Paul was talking about images made with hands. The clerk gets up and talks about Artemis falling from heaven. They're talking about probably a meteorite that came down that was shaped in a similar fashion to the goddess, which allowed them to say, this is no threat, because this was not made by hands. This was an image that fell from heaven. Therefore, since these facts are undeniable, you ought to be quiet and not do anything rash. You brought these men here, though they have neither robbed temples nor blasphemed our goddess. If then Demetrius and his fellow craftsmen have a grievance against anybody, the courts are open and there are proconsuls. They can press charges. If there's anything further you want to bring up, it must be settled in a legal assembly. As it is, we are in danger of being charged with rioting because of today's offense. In that case, we would not be able to account for this commotion, since there's no reason for it. And after he had said this, he dismissed the assembly. His concern is that we're going to somehow offend the Romans who think we're out of control and they're going to come in and clamp down on us. So we don't want that. So settle down, go home. If there are real issues here, take it to the courts. But don't allow this uproar to become cause for the Romans to come in and press us down. So he goes in, quiets everybody down, and they file out. But they were in here 2 hours of chanting before the conversations begin, and probably an hour for the crowd to build as they spread the word and people start rushing in, and this chanting of great is Artemis of the Ephesians for hours, consecutive phrases, and then finally they go home. Paul never came to that assembly. It would not have been wise for him to have come to that assembly. But here is where that happened. And that's part of why I think Ephesus is so significant for us, because of the powerful impact of the gospel in this city. So much so that the businessmen who are creating these images are losing business. And the gospel has that kind of transformative power in the community. And the whole city's in an uproar. But finally they just settle it down and go to their homes. It's in here that they get it.
He was born in Tarsus, that is out of Tarsus.